Welcome to the Ripon Hornblower. Setting the watch. For once, I'm going to let somebody else speak. And this evening we have Gunnar setting the watch in the city of Ripon. I'll pop the complete video of Ripon up at the end. Until then, enjoy the Ripon Hornblower.
Anyway, good evening, my name is Gunnar and I'm your Hornblower for this evening. The ceremony you've just witnessed is the setting of the watch. And it dates back to 886, making it approximately 1139 years old. It is said that is the longest standing tradition, holds the record for the longest standing tradition that is still carried out today. I would think that some Tibetan monks out there might argue and dispute that, but we're very proud as Riponians, and it's our tradition and we're sticking with it. There are actually four of me. I'm standing in for someone this evening. I wasn't meant to be on, but he's got sort of family he's got to go and deal with, so I said I would step in. So, 886, King Alfred the Great was touring the nation. And he was touring the nation to thank the nation for their assistance with the Viking problem, the Viking incursion. And at this stage, he had just beaten the Vikings down in London and fortified that, and was now showing off, walking around the country basically saying, we're on it. So the king of the Vikings at this stage had pretty much come across to Christianity, and most of his men were farmers and weren't causing too much hassle, and Dane law had been imposed. So he was up, they were up this end, he had the other end. So he came across this beautiful little settlement of Ripon, and we were based around the monastery, so you had all the tradesmen and people that are affiliated with that. Based here, so we were a fair-sized settlement and a good friendly Saxon settlement, and we gave him everything he required. He got his B&B and everything, and the following morning he arose and decided that what a great little place we were, and he'd bestow upon us a royal charter. But he hadn't come prepared, as I said. He was touring the country, so he took off one of his soldiers, a horn, presented it to the number one citizen and said, that is the symbol of the royal charter, and you will see horns all over Ripon. The seats are propped up by them, the signs have got one on. Everywhere you go you can find. We should do a competition to see how many horns we can find. And maybe I'll install one for Yorkshire. So he disappears off, as I say. He handed this horn over to the number one citizen. He goes back down south and gets on with life, running the country. And the number one citizen says, well, I'm not going to put it in a cupboard and get it out once a year like we do today. I'll put it to good use. So he created the job of the Wakeman. The Wakeman's job was to patrol the streets throughout the hour of darkness, from about 10 o'clock in the evening through to about 5 the following morning, and to use the said horn to raise the alarm if there was another Viking incursion, fire, or some local vagabonds came to steal our chickens, ladies, and whatever else was deemed valuable to them. So this went on, and the number one citizen, the Wakeman became the number one citizen, as did his family after that. So it was far too important to be walking around the streets with a horn, so he created the job of the hornblower. So that's where we came along. And to assist the hornblower, he went round and he sort of picked all the big lads and he said, right, get the stick, you can now be a constable. You will also be paid. So obviously to pay them, they had to raise funds. So because they had the royal charter, we could invent our own laws, our own taxes. So one of those laws was you couldn't be drunk and disorderly. So every night I could stand outside the old unicorn, grab a couple of big lads, let's go and do it, and make a fortune. But one of his taxes that he invented was a door tax. So if you had an inn seen as a safe house, so you were on the inside of the settlement, you were seen as pretty well off, so you could pay 4p a year. If you were on the outside, you were on the side that was going to get attacked, you were on the fence, then it was a penny. So what do the rich do? To stay rich, they find loopholes. So what they did is they sealed their front doors off on the inside, tucked them down the side and became a side door. And you can look around and you can sort of use a bit of the actual license to it, but there are ginnels all over the place. So it's probably now got doors back on them, but they were that. So that's how we worked that one. So this went on pretty much into the Middle Ages, and the next visitor was James I of England and 6th of Scotland, and he came up because one of the local landowners had enough of this little chap, the Wakeman, telling him what he could and couldn't do and charging him when he was coming out the Unicorn drunk at night. So he got the king to come up and sort it out. So the king came up and he made us into a mayoralty or a borough. He got rid of the mafia state run by the Wakeman and produced a democratic state. So we had rules and regs, and the Wakeman had to stand by them. But guess what? Not a lot changed because the Wakeman became the first mayor, and his name was Mr. Hugh Ripley. And you will also see Hugh Ripley House and Hugh Ripley this all over the place. And you may have noticed I doffed my cap after my last blow to the little house in the corner known as the Wakeman's Calf. And that is said where Mr. Hugh Ripley lived. And it is said that if he is not happy with the Hornblower's blast, and if you'd have heard me last week, you'd have wondered why the place hadn't fallen in, then pestilence will fall on them from the following day. And this is last time this is reported. That was 2011, where the earth moved for most people. There was an earthquake. But it is said that he will appear in the top-hand right-hand window, and I've not seen him tonight. And when I've finished, if you come over and have a look, you'll see there's a nice little cutout of the tree, and it seems to always be there. It's like somebody gets up there at night, cuts out, makes it little so you can see from here that window. Strange, maybe it's a little spooky thing there. So that pretty much, not a lot changed after that. It went on, and in 1904 it changed from 10 o'clock to 9 o'clock because the tourists coming on the train either missed their train back to Harrogate or they missed the Hornblower. So the bright people in the white building behind you said, right, well, let's move it to 9, and that's that problem solved. World War II, it was moved from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock because if you imagine Dad's army with all his pals, the air raid wardens that have been screaming and shouting, get that light out. And of course, COVID that we thought was never going to leave and was going to be the rest of our lives. Well, it didn't stop the Hornblower. The Hornblowers got dressed up in their kit, in their back gardens, had their partners live video link them to social media. Ripon blow your own horn being one of them. And I tell you what, if we don't tip up here at 9, Ripon lets you know about it. So, and then that's pretty much where we are at today. We've all hold our own horn. We don't have our own horns, but this is mine. This is the QE2. It's the Jubilee horn from 2022, and was gifted by the mayor, the councillors, and all the civil servants who work in that place behind you. The lady hornblower has, I think, she's the next junior horn. She has a sort of 1993 horn, and a little bit of fame for hers. Do you remember that, going back to Dad's Army, the Dad's Army film that was released about 20 odd years ago? It was a rethink, none of the original characters really. And you see in the opening scene, he's seen chased across the field by a bull, catching Mary's little legs, running off touching me. Well, that was Setchington II, and he came from a little village called Setchington, north of Malt, and that's what's left of him. So we have the last bits of him. I'm sure the owners kept the other one. So, and then we go back into sort of 1973, 1859, 1649, which they've just recently retired. It's a very nice horn. I did blow it when I was in the silver room. I think it's a lovely tune. But they give this to the new boy. So I started this a year ago and couldn't blow it, and I couldn't get a whistle out of it, to be honest with you. So they used to laugh at me, and I used to come round the corner and sort of apologise before I even mentioned anything else. I'm terribly sorry about the sound of coming out of my horn. And then I had a couple of Danish ladies stand in front of me one day, and they said, Gunnar, let's use the accent, it's terrible. We are from Denmark, we are Vikings. It is supposed to send a chill up your spine. You are doing perfectly correct. So I use that little one if I have a bad blow. But pretty much that's how we are today. So thank you very much. I hope that's been informative. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I am loitering around. The one last thing I will point out is Mr. Hugh Ripley, when he became the mayor and handed over his Wakeman, he wasn't very happy that the Hornblower was the only guy that didn't lose his job. He kept the same job. So he said, I don't trust the Hornblower. I want to see him wherever I am within the settlement. After he's blown, we used to blow at the four corners, he needs to come and find me. So if he's in the Unicorn, in you go. He has to stop put his bite down. At the moment it's a lady Hornblower, she's more like this here in the Claro. Or outside her house. There is a lamp, a replica of the lamp that is outside the City Hall there. And if you become the mayor, that gets put outside your house. So we got banned from going to her house for a week due to health and safety because there was a hole outside. They hadn't put the lamp post in. But she's not in settlement tonight, so I will, after you finish with me, I shall walk across to the red door, turn around and blow a further 3 blasts, doff my cap and ask permission to carry on. Brilliant. So I'm a modernist, so if you want to have a picture taken or questions, feel free. Thank you very much.
If you want to see more of our visit to Ripon, then the link will pop up shortly. If you enjoy our style video, then don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and happy travels.